Hi, welcome to McClone Brothers and Jack Nemeth Brokers. Gives me great pleasure to introduce Jack Nemeth, one of the most successful independent brokers, investors in my opinion.
The most.
The most.
Thank
Jack
you.
is a multi-state investor in real estate. He's a property manager, landlord, notary public. And I met Jack over 10 years ago.
Reverend.
And he's a reverend.
Yes,
And he's taken me under his wing. Thank God. But this is going to be 3 questions. It's going to be short and sweet. We're not going to waste your time. Let's get right into it. Jack, why do you think you've been so successful in real estate?
Well, I think it goes back to the very beginning. When I started out in real estate, I kind of started out by accident. I've always been interested in real estate, but I had a good job. I worked for AT&T and Pacific Telephone, made decent money, and I started buying property through a lady who eventually became my mentor. She was one of the largest real estate brokerage or agent holdings in the South Bay, and she kind of took me under her wing, showed me what to do, and learned, and I started buying and selling and taking care of business. Rather than going out and buying expensive cars and trips, I spent time working on property.
So you were working on the weekends?
I worked on the weekends, I worked on the evenings. I had 2 friends of mine way back when who we would buy foreclosed properties, all 3 of us together. One of them was a construction worker, so he knew how to fix it. I learned how to do all this crap by myself, which I didn't like doing, but I did it all the time. And I was on ladders, sanding, scraping sides of buildings, and eventually was able to now hire it all done. But we started buying these houses, flipping them, and making money on them, and I put it right back into more property. I wouldn't, spend $20,000 on a trip to Europe, which a lot of my friends were doing. And that's one of the reasons I think led to my success, hard work.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So so I'm clear, you worked for 25 years. Did anyone ever tell you, hey, quit your job and just do real estate full time?
The one person who did that was myself. That's what I wanted to do more than anything, because I hated working at the phone company. But my buddy Kay, who was my mentor, said, you don't leave your job until you have a stream of income coming in from real estate, i.e. apartment buildings, rentals, or something. And I said, okay, you're right. So I didn't quit. I worked, and I still bought property, and eventually I was able to pay them all off, and then the income came in. I was able to retire from the phone company.
And you had some of your biggest success when you were about 50 to those years in real estate and buying and selling.
What I
real
did
estate.
is I set a goal with myself. Goal setting is very important. When I was in my 20s, I said when I hit 50 years old, I want to retire from working at the phone company. And you're in your 20s, hey, 50's years away. Well, the day I turned 50, I walked out that door and I retired. I was able to do it. I worked towards that goal. So you want to set yourself a goal. By this age, I want to have this, this, and this. And if you work in stages and do piece by piece, you'll make it. And that's what I did.
But you could have retired a lot earlier, but you wanted your buyout.
I could have retired earlier, but if I waited till I was 50 years old and I had 25 years of service, I was the magic 75. I kept my insurance forever, and I got a lump sum buyout on my retirement. And that's what I wanted to do.
And that's why you have the first nickel you earned.
The second.
That's right. So, and that's what I took away. I worked for top pharmaceutical companies. When I first came to California, I worked for Merck Pharmaceuticals, and I met Jack, and we did our first flip in 202, 203 in West Hollywood.
Yeah, around
and he said, don't quit your job. Don't quit your job right now. Get some real estate under your belt, and then when you have some cash flow coming in, then you can make that move. So let's go on to the second question. How do you see the market right now?
As I was saying a little bit earlier, the market is an interesting place. As we're speaking today, the 9th of March, the stock market is crashing. It'll probably finish minus 2,000 points today, which is a serious issue. It's not a panic time yet, because as long as the market stays above 20,000, I'm not freaking out. But oil is also crashing today, which is lower gas prices, I guess. But real estate, when the stock market takes the hits it's taking, people sell off and they move into real estate. So it kind of causes the real estate market to rise a little bit. Right now in California, we've got very few things on the market. I was just looking yesterday, matter of fact, in the Anaheim Hills area, there's 23 listings on the MLS, where a year ago there were 140. There's not a lot of inventory, and whatever is out there is getting gobbled up. Stuff between $500,000 and $1 million are selling in 2 or 3 days. Stuff between 1.2 and maybe 2.5, 2.8 is sitting. It's sitting for quite a while. Stuff over 3 million. The higher end stuff is selling pretty quickly as well. There are a lot of buyers out there buying the high end stuff. And as I've always said, it's easier to sell high end property than it is a low end. Your high end property usually is all cash, or they're approved for loans without a problem, and they understand the finesse of getting a loan. You don't have to explain all the crap to them, and you make a huge commission on a high end loan. As opposed on a low end where you're going to make not a lot, but you want to have a good balance of everything. You want to have a balance of low end, high end, medium end.
So a lot of volatility out there from what I'm hearing.
There's a lot out there right now. It'll settle down a little bit. It's going to settle down, but
And your portfolio, as is mine, you're real estate heavy as opposed to stock market.
I have zero money in the stock market. I don't believe in stock markets because real estate, you can touch it, you can feel it, you can walk on it. Somebody will pay you to live on your property all the time. And that's how I've always felt.
Well, to your point, right now the stock market just crashed, and we're going to raise our rents on properties.
That's correct.
And there's no vacancies in the markets out here.
In
Vegas.
I'm working on a property right now in Gardena. It's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. Person that moved out there lived there for 41 years. They were paying me $1,100 a month for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. It was disgusting. I mean, it was horrible. They wouldn't let me in to fix anything. They didn't want the rent to go. I said, fine. Once they moved out, now I've remodeled the apartment. I spent about maybe $12,000 to upgrade it. It looks like a high-end condo. It has granite countertops. It looks beautiful. I mean, anybody would want to live there. I've got 3 people begging to rent it for $23.50. Same apartment. Yeah. And so I'll get all my money back in less than a year, plus have a tax deduction. Now, if you're in real estate, one good thing about being in real estate is as far as anybody else, you have a cap of $25,000 a year in passive losses. If you're in real estate, you have unlimited passive losses as long as you spend 50% or more of your time and you're an agent and or a broker.
Yeah.
So that will save you quite a bit of money. It's kind of like the old days.
So when we talk about the future, you're a multi-state investor over the United States. Mm-hmm. You love California. I just talked to an investor and had a conversation with you that wants me to invest in Ohio. And you made a comment about Ohio versus California and the weather when you talk about New York and the East Coast.
Let me get rid of that. It's one of those spam calls. Don't worry about it. Anyhow, go ahead.
So, what's your opinion with the 5 years in the future? Are you going to go heavy in California? Are you going to go other states?
The only place I concentrate in California. I have some investments in Nevada because Nevada is close enough here. The one lesson I learned from my mentor years ago, she said, don't ever buy real estate that you're 2.5 hours or more away from. Vegas, I'm 47 minutes by jet, so that's fine. But the Vegas investments I did them as what I call a grunge purchase or a grudge purchase. I had a former friend of mine that had bought a condo there, and when the market crashed out there, I was able to buy the one 3 doors down from him for, I think, $27,000. He paid $150 for his. So as they came on the market, I started grabbing them up and buying them. We bought a total of 9. And they've now gone back to their full market value. So things do go back up. I've looked at some things in Texas. The next time a hurricane goes through, it destroys the market down there. So it's just, I like staying in California. I mean, we have earthquake issues, yes, but I haven't, knock on wood, have not had one.
I'm trying to get them to go global.
I don't want to go out of California or Nevada, really. I don't believe in going too far. I mean, Ohio, they talk about that, but the weather out there is nasty, and you have a limited amount of people that are there. The job market is not the greatest.
Everyone always wants to come back to California.
Everybody wants to come back. I don't know if you're aware, but Toyota moved out of Torrance.
Yeah.
They moved tons of workers to Plano, Texas, and it was a financial gain because the governor of Texas promised them all these tax benefits. Well, unfortunately for Toyota, a lot of the people have now quit and retired and returned to California. They can't deal with the weather. They can't deal with the bias down there. A lot of Asians that moved over there have gotten, how do you say this, an unwelcome feeling, and they don't want, it's not worth it. They come back and they're hiring at Hyundai, which is now becoming a big employer here in the South Bay, as well as Mercedes-Benz has moved their West Coast headquarters to the city of Long Beach. A lot of high-end paying jobs are coming into Long Beach because of that. So I think there are jobs being created in California, a lot of high-end jobs because you're getting industry here. You've got the whole Playa Vista, Playa del Rey, Marina del Rey has now become Silicon Beach. A lot of tech companies. I think, is it Google? I think just leased like 1 million square feet. They're building corporate headquarters.
They bought
there.
some property at the Gold's Gym they own.
Yeah.
You know, the bottom line is it's still the 5th richest economy in the world. It's still a hustle town where there's a lot of professional opportunities compared to other markets on the East Coast. And then when you factor in the weather, eventually it's typical. Everyone wants to come back here. So we're heavy in California, but we also do global with my brother and outside the country as well. All right, so let's get to the bonus question.
Bonus question.
And see if you agree with this. I did some
Okay.
research and see if you agree. 50% of agents, like 51% of agents in the state of California that work as real estate agents and brokers do not even own their own home. Do you agree with that?
You know, I don't know. I'm not going to say I agree or disagree. I don't know the answer. I know the Asian population I've dealt with, because I've had quite a few Asian clients.
Agent, real
Oh,
estate
agent.
agents.
I thought you said Asian.
You need
I'm
coffee.
sorry. I do. Agents, you're absolutely correct.
Okay.
A lot of agents don't own their
Over
own.
50%, that is true.
I mean, when I was really heavy on Kings Road in West Hollywood, I dealt with a lot of the newer agents. They were all renting, and they made a big deal when they made like 5 or 6 big sales. They go and buy this big home in the Hollywood Hills. A year and a half later, when they couldn't make any money, the house was in foreclosure. So a lot of them don't own their own homes. Most brokers, high-end brokers, will own several properties. But the agents, you're right, a lot of them don't.
Okay.
So if you find an agent that owns his home, he probably believes in his product. He's probably a good guy to
Yeah,
work with.
exactly. And that is true. It's about 51%. Second question. 90% of agents, true or false, do not own their own home and do not have investment property.
That's true. That's true.
That is true. So over 90%. And what that leads me to is when we talk about our business at Jack and Emmett Brokerage, the McClone Brothers, we own our own homes, we have investment property. So what's going to get you into the 1%? And something that I learned from Jack that I think gets us into the 1% is our ethics and our hard work. We're not just listing agents. We're investors, we're global investors. Jack's been doing this 30 plus years. I've been doing this 10 years. And we have a lot of contacts through my brother who works in the financial sector. And, it's something we take great pride in. And I think what we do here is very unique. We're a smaller company. We're not going to take on clients that we can't handle. We're not going to, we're going to push you to what's going to be appropriate for you.
Well, I mean, the one thing that I can specifically, what I've been doing a lot of lately is I specialize in certain groups of people. I have an inroad with a lot of FBI agents, and I'm doing a lot of their work down in South Orange County. I've got some doctors, I've got some police folks. So I get the feeling what they want, and I'm not going to sell you a house, and I don't think Tim will either, just because I can make a commission on it. If it's not going to fit you, then I'm not going to talk to you about it. I mean, we looked at a house in Hermosa Beach. I walked this mega mansion for what, 4 million? I don't know what it was.
4 million.
Yeah, and I looked at the house and I said, something smells funny in here. I finally got the agent there, who was probably a new agent, I would assume. The girl, I don't think she was a seasoned one, but I got the lady to admit that, well, they did have a mold issue, but it's all taken care of. Okay. And they explained what they did, and I walked the outside of the property and saw cracks in the stucco. And my opinion was, if there's cracks in that stucco, the water's seeping through when the rain hits. There's going to be reoccurring mold issues. And that's got to be disclosed anytime you sell a property. I would not sell anybody in my circle that property.
Just to be clear, she did disclose that there was a mold issue.
She did disclose there was an issue.
But we just looked at the property, and that's...
She explained it was all remediated already.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, that's good. And I think it'll reoccur again because the stucco that was not fixed appropriately. But I do think that I would not sell somebody a house just because I can make money. I want my clients, most of my clients are all repeat clients and all referral. I've built up a great base, and they come to me because of me. I've tried to, give a few of my clients to other people, and they, no.
And I'm the client, and you weren't trying to sell me on that house.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's my point.
I talked them out of it, actually.
Yeah, he talked me out of it. And that's my point with Jack. He's really taught me about ethics, and you have a lot of people out there that try to cut corners, and you can't do that in this business because it's eventually going to catch up to you. And I think that's so important, and I think that's what separates us from a lot of people out there.
One quick check you can always do, check out somebody's real estate license. You get the numbers are there, it's open for public, go to the DRE board, put their license, their number or their name. Up will come their license, show you how long they've been in business. They'll show any litigation against them, any things they've been involved in. If they come with a clean record, they've been around for a few years, you probably have a good guy or girl. And that's something that's important. A lot of people don't understand that, but it's very important to make sure the person has good ethics. We all take classes in ethics, we all take classes in honesty in the business, but there's a lot of folks out there that probably don't practice what they learn. And you just gotta protect yourself.
Absolutely.
It's about protection.
Absolutely. Well, with that said, Jack, I know you're busy. Thanks for your time so
Okay.
much. Jack Nemeth Brokers, the McClure Brothers. Talk to you soon. Take care.